Yo, what's up, guys? This is Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Casted, on one of the HCS commentators, and we have another HCS Weekly Report where today we're going to be discussing the winter update balance adjustments and all the sandbox changes and what exactly it means for competitive Halo. Not too long ago, Tashi had tweeted out saying that these changes were going to be controversial. These changes were not going to make everyone happy, and I was a little bit scared, I'm not gonna lie, but you know what, we have the changes right now. Let's go into it. And again, keep in mind that this video is going to be geared towards competitive Halo, so everything we talk about right now is really not going to be geared towards the casual scene, and it's just really about what it means for HCS, especially with season 2 coming right around the corner. First up, talking about the plasma pistol. So many players reported that the plasma pistol was underperforming against Spartans, especially when using its overcharged shot to help the overcharged shot track as expected at mid to close range. We've updated its values slightly in the winter update. We also noticed the base shot was not seeing much use, so we've increased the damage of the base shot to make it more viable option for players. I, for one, actually love this change going into it. The plasma pistol definitely felt a bit underwhelming, especially when you compare it to like the Halo 5 one. Do I want it to be as good as Halo 5? Probably not, because I don't know if you guys remember, you could hit somebody from Truth all the way on Coliseum in Halo 5 with the plasma pistol. It was a bit overpowered. However, I will say Halo Infinite's one felt a little bit underwhelming. So increasing that track and also increasing the base shot can be huge, from 20 to 28, which is to be a big, that is a big change from 20 to 28. That's going to be shredding shields going forward, which I love. I want to be able to single fire and melt somebody with the plasma pistol, not just have the option to charge it up. So I'm so far, I'm pretty happy with the changes that I'm seeing as far as the tuning, as far as the plasma pistol. But let's talk about the pulse carbine. Even as players have gotten more proficient with the pulse carbine, it has not been as successful in short to mid-range as we would like to help with this. We've updated the tracking to help it out in shorter range to help balance out its power, though we'll be reducing its tracking at long range. These changes should help player land shots more consistently in short to mid-range while slightly reducing the effectiveness at longer range. Again, I see a bit of a W here. I feel like the pulse carbine wasn't meant to be used as a long range option. It's supposed to be a medium range option, and I feel like shortening it from long range is a good play, and giving it some short range effectiveness could be huge as well. The only thing I'm too worried about when coming to this is I don't want it to become like a new Mangler. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be like a one-hit melee weapon that people just running around doing. Cause that's why I feel like we can turn this weapon and make it overpowered. Like, I love what a pulse carbine is with drop weapon, with switch weapon. I'm not all that much of a fan of it, but it's still very good. If it becomes too good at short range, I might be a little scared of it. So we'll see exactly how this goes here. As far as how the projectile works, you know, the velocity, and because I calculate velocity X, Y, Q. I know math. Shut up. And this right here means things with the pulse carbine. Going into the Commando, one of the most common pieces of feedback we've seen is that aiming with the VK78 Commando, put its freaking government name on the line, felt loose, especially at shorter range. To help increase its effectiveness up close, we've slightly increased the bullet magnetism and slightly reduced the high minimum error. We've seen this help players finish off targets at close range during internal playtests, so we're eager to see how this plays out in the wild. And for me at my level of gameplay, being a low Onyx player, I am not good with the Commando whatsoever. Like, I feel like when I use the Commando a lot differently than other people do. I use it just to shred shields. When I'm using the Commando, I have no I have no thought in my mind to finish kills. My job is to put as many people one shot as much as possible. Even aiming down the sight feels real smooth. So I'll even use it from a medium to long range, which is not really what it was meant for. I love the Commando, but I use it a lot differently than other people do because I'm just not good with it. And I don't think a lot of people at my rank are really all that proficient. Now, when I watch the pros use it, the Commando shreds. You put that Commando in the right hands, and it's better than the damn BR. Like, and so this is the only one I feel like is a bit controversial to me because at my level, I think it's great. Going into the pro level, I think it could be a little scary, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, play test, and hopefully we can see tunings like this, especially slight ones, a little bit faster than we've seen this one coming out. So I'm still gonna consider this a W, but I want to see what this means going forward, especially for top competitive play. The BR-75. Hold on. BR-75. Hold on. Everybody stop. Everybody stop right now. That's 343 about to touch the BR. It's about to be crazy. We want the BR-75 to remain the versatile weapon we know and love, but also have noticed it has been performing a bit too well, making it not feel as rewarding as it should in the winter update. We wanted to raise the skill ceiling on landing the final kill shot, as well as reduce its effectiveness at range from the hip. Oh no! These changes should help make kills with the BR-75 feel even more rewarding. And again, I hate to sound like I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is good. I mean, let's be honest here. The BR is a freaking power weapon, and I focus more on the competitive side of things. But think about it when you're going into social and somebody has a BR versus your AR side, like you're done for. The BR is so good they actually couldn't even have it as a starting weapon in big team battle because it would be overpowered. The BR is damn good, and a lot of the pros have complained about it being too good and it being too easy to use, and they wanted to see a little bit more of a skill gap with it. I think this is a step in the right direction. Is this completely nerfing the BR? Probably not. You know, maybe got to aim down the sight a little bit more. Okay, that's fine. I'm excited to see exactly where we go with this, and maybe with this tuning, we're gonna see an even more robust sandbox. You know, we're gonna see the pulse carbine get even more play. We're gonna see the Commando get even more play. Now you really are going to be like I track down a secondary no matter what, but I feel like right now it's an option, and maybe going forward it will become a necessity for competitive HCS. Frag grenades. This has been a big one because it's so fun. I actually had somebody in my stream who never had watched Halo before, and the first thing they said about the actual in-game play was, "Wow, there's nades all over the place. Like these nades need to go." Never had watched Halo before. They were a Call of Duty competitive player, and that's what they said the first time seeing Halo competitive play. So we've been talking about frag grenades and where they should be. Some people have said we should start off with one. Some people said they need to be nerfed their radius and all this good stuff. Let's see what they do. Frag grenades have received feedback that it's a bit too effective, and throwing one just before dying results in easier trades than intended. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Shoot, I do it. I ain't gonna lie. I do it all the time. Melee into a frag grenade. Increase detonation timer by 0.2 seconds. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I mean this should be good for the whole melee and chuck grenade, which I'm not gonna lie. I do all the time. And I'm sure that's gonna help. I think people more or less wanted maybe a reduction in like the blast radius or damage, and so like maybe a little bit more tuning as far as its effectiveness as far as the explosion wise, and also talk about spike grenades and dynamo grenades as well, even more so than frag grenades. But you know, we'll see. You know, we'll see. Out of all of the grenades, though, I will say, out of all of the grenades, I think the frag was like the one that needed the least tuning. But from what I'm hearing from John Unishek and them, they're actually already looking into spike grenades. They're already looking into dynamo grenades and doing some internal testing on some different things to see exactly how they can balance it out a little bit more. And we'll see what happens going forward. Snap slide. Uh-oh. Some people are going to get mad at this. Movement is always tricky to balance. We want to allow players to express their movement skill in matches, but we also don't want that movement tech to completely break maps or create unpredictable gameplay flow. For example, curb sliding and its current uses have been fun to watch and hasn't been interrupting gameplay flow too much. On the other hand, snap sliding allows players to make jumps that could truly break the game flow. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to snap slide. So this really doesn't affect me. And to be honest with you, most competitive players, it doesn't affect them. Most players can't snap slide on a dime. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't mind snap sliding being gone from the game. I don't mind, especially if it's game breaking. But I don't want to alienate a part of the community that has so much fun mastering this crazy tech. Like when I think of like the Milk Way, for example, he snap slides on a dime, bro, across an entire map. Like if you want to see what snap sliding capability could be, like, because again, we talk about Halo Infinite in year one. Remember what Halo 1 and Halo 5 in year one was versus what Halo 5 in year 5 was. The meta sped up so much. People were hitting what's it called? Why can't I think of the name of the jumps? Wow. Not ghost jumps. I don't. Why can't I think of the name of the special jump? You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm thinking, you know, scoreboard jumping. What? Okay, now I'm mad. I can't think of the name of the jump from Halo 5. Someone needs to help me in the chat real quick. Spring jump. Wow, no, why people hitting spring jumps and like on a dime, like it was nothing. You know, that Tower 1 to Tower 2 jump on rig and plenty more. So Milkway really showed us what snap sliding could be, you know, in year 3, 4, and 5 of Halo Infinite if people were to master it. But as of right now, to my knowledge, he's the only one that can really do it like that. So I don't want to alienate that part of the community. So I'm gonna defer to them on, you know, how they feel about it. As far as me, like I said, I can't even snap slide. And my level of gameplay, I don't even see a lot of people doing it, and I'm not. It doesn't affect me as much. So I'm gonna defer to some of the movement gods. Next up gonna be the Disruptor. Y'all already know Disruptor, my favorite weapon in the game. I'm seeing pros and other players start to utilize the Disruptor, you know, bouncing it off of strongholds pads, dropping, you know, bouncing off of BRs, dropping their BR. Yeah, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the stream, but your boy's been doing that since freaking day 1. Since day 0. Your boy's been bouncing Disruptor off of everything. I've been using Disruptor as a primary with how much I love it. And for them to increase that ammo from 10 to 12, I'm down. I'm ready. Give me more Disruptor, baby. And now we're going to talk about a little bit of future updates, desync, aiming, and more. This is going to be important. Mouse and keyboard inputs improvement. The fact that if you're using mouse and keyboard in today's day and age, you don't know what you're doing. I'm totally joking. I'm joking. Okay. Mouse and keyboard desperately needed some improvements, and I'm really happy they're gonna start getting it. Red reticle on PC, W all day. I don't know when to shoot somebody. I'm a BK, and I'll be a BK to the day I freaking die. But red reticle helps me so much in ways you'll never understand. Give me red reticle, and I'll take it all day long. Scroll wheel, more mouse and keyboard stuff. The wall kick and mouse and keyboard, not having the ability to kind of adjust their speed. Networking desync improvements. When the server says you're in one place on the map while your client shows you in a different place. Blank shots. You fire shots at a player and see them connect, but the bullets deal no damage. Getting shot around walls and corners, you think you're safely around the corner, but you are dealt a fatal blow from a player who no longer has a line of sight on you. Ghost melees when a melee a player, and here the but no damage is dealt. That's the complexity. Sometimes there are multiple ways to encounter the same issue, which means we need to include multiple fixes to truly help reduce how often players experience it. For example, many reports of blank melees we've seen are the result of a fake reload bug of players' client. And we're going a little bit into more of the nitty gritty here. But hey, we got to give a shout out to 343 not hiding from this. Coming out there, people said, obviously want server improvements, obviously want to figure out this desync issue, and every issue that's been brought up on Twitter numerous times, seemingly brought up right here, right now, and there's fixes coming, and I hope they come soon. I actually heard that they've been able to replicate a lot of these issues in-house, and with replicating these issues come fixing it very quickly, because now they're able to figure out the multiple ways that it comes out, kind of alluded to right here, and figure out how to fix each individual issue. So this is big. This is big. This is a huge step in the right direction. Remember, I talked about my 4 pillars on getting Halo Infinite back on track, and that was that Battle Royale included, and that was that quality of life adjustments included as well, along with Forge and a custom browser. So we are getting there. We are getting closer to where Halo Infinite should be. More balance updates. The drop shot or drop weapon. The drop shot meta, which allowed players to pull up their secondary faster by dropping their primary weapon, was interesting at first, but ultimately became problematic during normal gameplay. We kept an eye on it, especially in high-level matches, and agreed with community feedback that it's just too strong for how easy it is to pull off. As a result, we were planning to bring the drop shot time in line with the speed of just swapping weapons in a future update. Now, I'm not good at words. Now, when it says in line with the speed of just swap weapons, that means like exact 1-for-1? Does that mean dropping weapon is going to be as slow as switching weapons, or will it be closer to it? Maybe somewhere in the middle of where it is now. Like right here, you have swapping weapon. Right here, you have dropping weapon, and maybe somewhere in the middle is going to be the updated drop weapon, because that's what I would like to see. I still want drop weapons to be useful. We'll see. We'll see exactly what ends up happening there. Thruster. I like the thruster where it is. Y'all see the ninja plays that I come off. I think, I mean, you only get 3 of them, and I really like the thruster where it is. But if they feel like they need to nerf it a bit, yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna cry about it. Maybe a little bit tonight, but whatever. Energy sword. We've noticed that energy sword can be a little too effective on maps with tighter quarters. To help bring it in line with where we'd like, we'll be updating the melee trade logic on the energy sword. Right now, if both players are no shield in the melee each other, the player with the energy sword will survive with a sliver of health. This upcoming update will update the melee logic so both players trade melees and die. Oh, that's so aggressive, which should help prevent the energy sword from just tearing through teams without trade. Oh my gosh, what the wording on this the wording on this like final like sentence, like what the hell? Again, W. I think what energy sword is right now, it's almost like having a sword and the overshield, the way you're able to survive some of these crazy engagements despite being one shot. And maybe we see the GA lifted because of it. And you know what? I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure to do some play testing with and without it and see where we're at. But so far, I'm liking that logic going in to approaching the energy sword. Now, I also will say that I think a lot of the casual community would rather keep the energy sword the way it is. So it would have been cool if maybe competitive got a different setting when it came to that. But that's for another day. Competitive weapon respawn times throughout the Halo Infinite's first HCS season. The amount of power through on map pickups like weapons on each arena map became a common discussion point. Most competitors felt like there was too much power on the map for pickup, which allowed the matches to snowball. To help address, we'll be reducing how quickly weapons respawn, as well as how many of each weapon can be on the map at any given time in ranked arena. Which I think this is important. Not so much for the Commando and assault rifle, but really more for that heat wave and that bulldog and the sword and even the mangler as well. I talk about it before. One of the reasons why I agree with the mangler GA is not because I feel like the mangler is bad for Commando. I love the mangler. I've said it before. The mangler is one of my favorite weapons. My problem is that you have freaking 27 shots with it. It comes up every 30 seconds. It can hold up to I think 52 bullets total. So the problem is that you grab a mangler, say you spend 20 seconds up on the map, doing your thing, a couple of shots here, this, that, there, you die, drop the mangler, your opponent picks it up, you spawn, go back to the mangler, and in 2 seconds off the spawn, you have another mangler. Now we have two. It never leaves the freaking map, and at some point during after every 30 seconds it coming up, after a 3-minute game, you have 6 manglers on the map. That's at the 3 minutes. Games last 12, 15 minutes. So it began to be too much. So I agree with the weapon respawn times. We'll see exactly how they choose to address it, and I'm excited to see where we're going forward. As far as this, I'm sure we're getting called a 3-4-3 shill or whatever. This was a W block. This was an absolute W block. For 99.9% of what I read, I think it's going to be good and healthy for the community. Now, obviously, again, I have to get my hands on it and see, what it truly is about. But this is going to be great, and it is going to be big for competitive Halo and what HCS is going to be going forward. And this was your HCS Weekly Report, where we were discussing what these sandbox changes going forward will mean for competitive Halo. I think this goes live on November 8th, so 5 days from today if you're watching live, 4 days if you're watching on YouTube, and it's going to be exciting. This is going to be big and really going to be a part of what helps get Halo Infinite back on track. Guys, if you like this kind of content, subscribe down below. Put in the comments. Just make some noise in the freaking comments. Follow me on Twitch. We do these live every day at 10 o'clock in the morning, so get involved. Follow me on TikTok and all that other Twitter and all that other stuff. I got a show for socials. Shut up. Have a good one, guys. Peace.